Giants by a point 2 years ago. We're joined now by Gail Gardner. Now, Gail, each of these two teams playing in the Super Bowl today has a player whose name is associated with a Super Bowl disappointment, Scott Norwood and the Cowboys' former tight end Jackie Smith.
Absolutely, and what a story this one has been and still is. You know, every once in a while, there is a moment in a Super Bowl that lingers in our memories for a long time. Some are positive and glorious, but others, as was the case with Scott Norwood, are poignant and bittersweet. 14 years ago, the last time the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl, one such moment occurred. And whether you were a Cowboy fan or not back then, watching it after all this time has not lessened its gut-wrenching impact.
Jackie, don't let your mistake get you down. Your children and grandchildren are worth more than 10 Super Bowl victories. I envy you.
Although you and I may never recover from the pain of that play, at least you are one of the world's favorite people who have lived intensely.
First of all, in my opinion, the Cowboys would have never made it to the Super Bowl if it weren't for you.
Thousands of letters, thousands of voices, an emotional outpouring to a man in a moment that have become part of our collective Super Bowl consciousness.
Third down and 3, Dallas at the Pittsburgh 10. Roger back to throw, has a man open in the end zone, caught, touchdown, drop! Dropped in the end zone, Jackie Smith all by himself. Oh, bless his heart, he's got to be the sickest man in America. Oh, Jackie was so wide open in the end zone, it was incredible. And he could not hang on to the ball.
Super Bowl 13, Steelers 35, Cowboys 31. The margin of victory, the 4 points that touchdown would have provided. A glorious 16-year career forever defined by one incomplete pass. Jackie Smith, the prototypical tight end, tall, tough, fierce competitor, punishing blocker, consistent receiver, and not easily intimidated.
I didn't really want anybody to intimidate me. I didn't want them to think that I can be intimidated. So sometimes I went a little bit overboard in making that point.
In 15 years with the Cards, the five-time Pro Bowler appeared in only one playoff game. He retired with a champion's heart, but no crown to show for it. Then 2 games into the next season, he got a rather unexpected call from Tom Landry.
It was almost as though I was some guy sitting on the couch in his living room and saying, you know, I'd like to play a little of that pro football stuff, and if I really had the chance, I'd like to play for those Cowboys. And all of a sudden the phone rings and you get to go down there, and that's how I felt.
He sort of led the team that year, being the oldest veteran on the team, and with his enthusiasm that year, he wanted to win the Super Bowl so badly that he actually, I think, led everybody.
And where he led them to was the Promised Land. In his 16th season, he was finally in a Super Bowl. Trailing the Steelers 21-14 in the third quarter, he was primed for his moment in the sun.
And they're going to throw. He's got it wide open. Veteran Jackie Smith. First time he ever got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, signed by the Cowboys, and he let a sure touchdown pass get away.
I started to cry, and my mother-in-law did as well. We all just sat there with disbelief. The pass happened so quickly that really, you know, you didn't have time to think about it. It was almost like you wanted it to run it again. Please, just, it was an instant replay. Please, let's see it one more time, because I know that he could have caught it.
All he wanted to do was play in the Super Bowl. And when he dropped that ball, I think it hurt us worse with him dropping the ball than losing the football game, because everybody really felt for him after that game.
Believe it or not, Jackie Smith told me that he has never watched that play and that he and his wife have never discussed it. And you know, of course, there were 6 finalists for the Hall of Fame. 5 made it. The only one that didn't was Jackie Smith. And I wonder, Mike, since you were his receivers coach in that season in 1978, do you think that that is possibly a reason for it, not making that catch?
Well, unfortunately, too many people put an emphasis on that. Yeah, they remember the last thing you did instead of all the great things you did. Jackie Smith is a winner. He was a winner then. He's going to be a winner his whole life. He's a class act. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and someday he will be in the Hall of Fame. I was proud to work with him. Here's a 38-year-old guy when he came with the Cowboys that could run 4.6 easily, and he was a phenomenon to me.
So Larry Little makes it, Peyton, Fouts, and the coaches Walsh and Knoll. Jackie Smith did not. Maybe next year he'll join his fellow tight end in the Hall of Fame. Kind of poignant, too, that he has saved all those letters, most of them supportive, for 14 years in a box in the closet. Ironically, the Cowboys' current tight end, Jay Novacek, like Jackie Smith, spent the first part of his career with the Cardinals. He played 5 seasons for them before joining the Cowboys in 1990. And we'll rejoin the activity in Pasadena right after these messages. Only one other team besides the Bills